Yo, what's up? It's your boy DGL7. We have another Sunday episode with my man Christopher Leon Johnson, aka Chris Lejohn, NYC, CHRISLEJOHN, YC. I'm a big fan of this guy's work. We're doing it again for another week with one of the hardest working men in the whole activism scene. So let me just bring up the chat in another window right here, and we're about to get this started. So, Chris, you have anything you want to tell the audience before I pop off with our first topic?
Oh, yeah. First of all, thank you for having me on your show for week 7. I believe it's week 7 on a beautiful Sunday morning. This is going to be a great rundown of the show today. We have a lot to talk about. I know last week wasn't that great, so I know those weeks will be way better. We actually had a venture this past week. Myself and DJ 7, all over the 5 boroughs.
With our first topic.
DJ, like you did well at one of the rallies by Palestine. I know we'll get that later on the show. And, you laid it down at the DSA rally with AOC, and then the sexual assault awareness rally. I'm like, wow. We had a great time, those 3 events. DJ, like I said, DJ brought it home at on the Palestine rally in Manhattan. That was crazy. So,
I appreciate that, man. Yeah,
it was great. It was great to let you speak, but we'll get into that later on. But right now, we want to talk about a few topics that I think we have on the title, like about Diddy and the NYCHA and the security industry. So we'll go into that right now. But stay tuned later on in the show. We'll talk about the 3 events we had, and you'll be laughing your ass off. So let's go.
Yeah. Oh man, we have so much to talk about. All right. So the first thing over here, I know that some of y'all might not know about. I'm gonna play a quick clip so that some of y'all can find out about it. Apparently, people know about Puff Daddy and this whole thing. Apparently, he's might be going down for the death of Biggie Smalls and maybe even Tupac as well. Yeah. So, if you remember that at the end of the last election cycle, people were Puff Daddy was talking about starting something called the Black Party. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So. Well, with this stuff, I don't think it's going to be going so well. So, let's see. What is Puff Daddy in trouble? Let me try this instead. I'll be sharing the screen with Christopher Leon Johnson so you can see what's going on. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm going to share the screen right here. Okay. Where is it? My goodness, my desktop is here. Okay. Where is that? Oh, Bronzebird. What's up, Bronzebird? Bronzebird, do you know who that is?
No, I don't know. But
I see Bronzebird in the chat. Okay.
Coming on the chat. Thank you, Bronzebird, coming on the chat. I appreciate it. Every viewer matters. Every person coming to chat matters. So we appreciate you. I appreciate you. DJ appreciate you.
Yeah.
Anybody that's not here, we appreciate your view.
Okay, let me try to share that one more time. I thought I had it on the screen. Okay, let me. Yeah, I appreciate you. Yeah. P. Diddy going down for B.I.G. Damn, something told me, but I wasn't too sure. Yo, there was a lot of suspicions for a long time, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, there was a lot of suspicions. Okay, so I'm going to take this, see if I could share this on the screen right here. Okay, where is it? Okay, here. Share the screen. Yeah, it should be this way. Let's try it one last time. Okay, yeah, so you could see this, right? You can see my screen now?
Oh, yeah, I can see it. YouTube. You got the shorts of Diddy. You got Diddy with, I think he's like FBI agent. You got Diddy. You got Gene Deal. That's his former bodyguard, to be exact. So I see what you're seeing.
Yeah.
That's just like you coming to the hood, the police ask them what happened, and everybody's like, I don't know. You know they lying.
A rare Tupac audio recording has been making the rounds on social media because the deceased rapper said that he knew Diddy and Biggie were plotting against him and were either involved in or arranged his shooting. The recording was recorded when Biggie and Tupac were no longer friends but rather rap rivals. And Tupac said that Diddy and Biggie were aware of his shooting but pretended to be unaware. While there were several minor squabbles between Tupac and Biggie, the first major fallout occurred when they were slated to collaborate on a project for another rapper, Lil Sean, and Tupac was shot. Tupac proceeded to Times Square's Quad Recording Studios and was about to go upstairs to where Biggie and Combs were when he was mugged. Tupac was gunned down in the foyer and shot 5 times, but he escaped unharmed. Tupac suspected Biggie had something to do with it, despite the fact that they did make it upstairs to meet them immediately after the incident. He may have been true in his assertion that Biggie knew about the assault because a close friend of Big claimed to have seen Pac and informed Big that Pac was in the studio. Big then directed them to take Pac to his position in the studio.
So yeah, just so you know, recently supposedly there's been some type of audio leak. Um, yeah, people are saying that he's doing some kind of gay parties, but there's supposedly his Biggie's bodyguard came out and said that Notorious B.I.G. bodyguard. He said that Sean Combs hired him to do a hit on Biggie. Bodyguard.
Gene Deal, yeah. Or was it Gene Deal?
Something like that. Yeah, right here. Yeah.
That's Gene Deal. That's Gene Deal, yeah.
Diddy's ex-bodyguard exposed for putting a hit on Biggie Smalls, and this stuff is actually starting to build up now, right? Mm-hmm. So I think there's a documentary coming out and all this other thing, right? FBI shares evidence that Jay-Z and Diddy killed Biggie. What? Yo, that's pretty bad. So, with the whole like Black Party thing that they were trying to be starting, remember that P. Diddy was trying to do that. That throws, I think, a wrench in that whole works. Any particular thoughts about what's going on with that?
To be honest with you, I'm not a big fan of Diddy. Diddy is shady. Like Diddy is just like it's nothing but like an executive that is standing on people's shoulders for the years he's been on. And like I said, the industry is corrupt. The record industry is a corrupt industry. Mainly entertainment is corrupt. Like you got a lot of people, all they want to do is stand on people's shoulders. And once they can't get what they get out of you, then they get rid of you. In this type of situation, I have big speculation that Puffy felt that Biggie was more dead than alive. So, I mean, is it a chance that Diddy took him out? Probably, yeah. It's hard to be proven. You know, people allege it all the time, but you got to really prove it.
So it seems weird that evidence is coming out so much later. It happened so long ago. Any evidence would be deteriorated, I would think, by now.
I think Diddy, to be honest, Diddy probably pissed somebody off in the record industry, or they just don't want him to. They don't want to do it anymore. The thing about the record industry is just like politics. Since we deal with politics a lot, they have things on people. You'd be surprised you don't think they have, but a lot of people on top have things on people, just like the politicians. That's why they're able to do what. That's why they do things that you be like they shouldn't be doing, and they do things that they should. They don't do things they should be doing because it's a lot of blackmail.
So let's take a look at maybe this is a conspiracy theory, right? Who could he have pissed off? Maybe in the music industry, maybe in the political industry, right? If he's thinking about taking the Black Party and using black star power to pull blacks away from the Democrat Party, that could cause a lot of damage for the Democrat Party. Maybe, you know they're involved with that Jeff Epstein stuff. Maybe they just decide, you know what? Puff Daddy's outlived his usefulness. Let's just blow him up. Who knows? We're going to find out, right? The FBI is involved. It does seem manufactured. It seems like it came out late in the process. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. We're going to see what's up.
Yeah, and while we're here, since we talk about that, I think there's a story that happened, I think it was 2000 or 2002 or 2003. It's one of those years. It was in the early 2000s where there was a time that Suge Knight, all the black type big-time moguls like Irv Gotti, Suge Knight, and a few of these guys they was going to team up together and form their own record label, distribution label. And suddenly they all got raided. Irv Gotti got arrested, his brother got arrested for RICO and stuff like that. But now you get people conspiracy that they'll piss them off. They piss the people on top off.
Another thing that I've heard about is, I don't know if you've ever seen this video, right? Once you start going down like these, there's kind of like rabbit holes in the hip hop community, right? One thing, I don't know if you've heard about this, is there's some top rappers, I think it was maybe Outkast, one of these guys, they said they were at this meeting where the prison industry decided they wanted to promote violence in the hip hop music, right? And promote thugification, right? To try to keep their jails filled and stuff like that. Have you heard about that particular theory as well?
Yeah, I've been about those videos. I've been about the videos, about the Illuminati videos, the Freemason videos, the Boule videos. I knew about all that since I was real young. Like I said, I got introduced by my teacher. Like, she's a Muslim teacher. She's a Muslim convert teacher. So people don't understand that. Like, I learned this from a Muslim convert teacher. Like, Guyanese Muslim convert, like one that came with hijab and wore a long dress. Those type. She went that Muslim. So that's how I got introduced to all this stuff like that. But I've been doing that type of stuff. Like, people be like, well, like you don't really bring this up in your content, like what I do, because it's kind of controversial, and it's just real controversial, and it's sometimes dangerous to cover. I mean, you don't know who you're fucking with. Start bringing stuff up. But yeah, it's no surprise. Really no surprise. With the prison industry, that's how they make money. You need you need a lot of people to get into the prisons. That's how they able to make money. It's not just the private prisons. Of course, like the state prisons, they make money regardless of taxpayer because of the beds. All right, how many beds you build, you fill, you get paid. Even the Rikers Island, like in the city of New York, they make money off of the holding people. So, but the private industry is like the most corrupt because the private industry, they do a lot of investments and they want their return. So they have no problem giving millions of dollars to drill music because they make the return through the profits, and then they make the return not only through the profits of the music, they make a return off the profits if they get people in jail because somebody want to shoot somebody because they stepped on somebody's shoe. So this is what goes on with the prison industry and how corrupt that is. It's real disgusting.
Well, it's definitely worth thinking about. And so I see that Bronze Bird in the chat is actually a friend of 12 Veils, and 12 Veils be saying like, how come all the videos about public housing and stuff, we're all trying to talk about advocacy for public housing, but the only ones that blow up are the ones that portray public housing as kind of like a thug type of violent stuff. But there's people in public housing that are elderly, disabled. There's like a lot of vulnerable populations that live in public housing that need care that I see when I go to these events, right? These advocacy events that are crying out for justice, crying out for help, crying out for assistance. But people tend to focus on one side of the conversation versus another. And, I think it's something that the community really needs to do a little bit more self-introspection about. And I think it's so great that you had a good teacher. Maybe one day we could have her on the show. And if you know anybody else who's, intelligent thinking and really community-minded about these kinds of things, we need to start talking to each other and start listening to the ones that's been with us, not the ones that they give us. So people like Chris Leon, LeJohn, look at the depth of his work. You could see that he's very committed to covering these events and organizations, and we need to really network more and work together. So, public housing. Yeah, did public housing just get sold out to a private developer? That's something Bronzehold asked in the chat. That's a complex issue because there's a whole bunch of different public housing in New York City, and they're being scattered in many different directions. And this is not by accident. They make it deliberately complex, so people are confused, and it's hard to really address the situation. But we're going to talk about some of those issues in a moment. Before I move on to the next topic, which has something to do with NYCHA, was there something else that you maybe want to talk about this whole Puff Daddy situation, or
while we're here, like I said, it's just a lot of conspiracy stuff, and what comes to that, like I said, that's how they make money off the people. With prison industry, it's a lot of ways they make money, and the one thing, since we're in politics, they don't like it when any politician talks against the industry because it feels mess up their money. So we get in with that. I mean, and then while we're here, public housing, let's talk before we get into the topic about NYCHA. We can dive into this for a few seconds about how NYCHA is NYCHA. It's private. They trying to privatize it, and they go a lot of directions. It's real complex. It's the problem is developers have this thing of making it private because there's a lot of money to be made. It's a big time profit. But then we gotta get at the groups that act like they're fighting for the people, but they're really not. They're working with developers, such as House Justice for All. We'll get into that later. We'll get into that organization later on. A little more later on what happened with the AOC situation, but we'll talk about them right now. How there was an article that came out recently about a few of the characters that act like they fighting for the people, especially with good cause eviction. They're not real as they think they are. A number of them, they developers, they daughters and sons of developers, or they work with developers themselves. But a number of those people, it's about the money with them, and it's about control.
And one thing that I want people to really start looking at these organizations, right? When you go to these rallies and see these organizations doing something, right, and you see these names and stuff like that, go and look up the executive board of these organizations, and then notice, right, what is their connection to the community and why are they involved? Is it a whole bunch of 5 or 6 younger, good-looking people who never look like they've actually been the victims of criminal justice, or they've never really been in public housing, stuff like that, right? And for some reason, it seems like they got elevated really fast in the game, right? Because they're The reason why, because they, they look good so people believe them, and also because they're willing to carry water for, or, do the bidding of people that have money and resources, and honestly, right, people in public housing, let's be real, right? Are you paying anybody to represent your interests? No, you're not. Right? Yeah, so you just have crazy activists like myself out here, or people that are just, personally dedicated like Christopher Leon Johnson to political issues. And, as hobbyists, we have to take on people who have, six-figure salaries, a whole team of them, right, backing them up to really, carry out the will of these AstroTurf agencies that are here to really, subvert the actual true movement. So that's a real issue, yeah.
Yeah, just like, and the thing while we'll talk about the other situation about that later on. Another thing, like where since it's kind of crazy, we had a great week about nonprofits later on. We'll talk about that with the Korean, rally we had it's not just looking at the executive board; it's always looking at the board, and they're always looking at the advisory board, because sometimes people that be on the advisory board has the power too over people on the board. It's a lot of things because sometimes people on the advisory board, they might be lawyers, they might be working for the city, they might be working for a developer, but they really depends on the company. They can't take on anything they really have that could come like a real conflict of interest. Sometimes it will be the council member that will be on the advisory board of a nonprofit, or they'll be on the advisory board of a corporation. Anytime where they can't get paid, anyway they can't have an influential vote. They can't vote on things, especially when it comes to financial decisions. Usually that would go with the board, but that we can get into later. We'll dive into that later on. But you got to look at even these organizations that act like they fight for the people in NYCHA. You got to look at that for the people that act like they're fighting for the people for regular housing, like for like the old school like brick and mortar housing. This is what you got to look at a little more these days. Just never let the people that tell you what you want to hear and believe what people that they tell you what you want to hear. It's all about what you need to hear. Especially with coming with that, NYCHA is going to be mostly privatized. A lot of the politicians, you think that they fight for you because they for barrel reform, or they're for Green New Deal, they're for the climate change. A number of them are on to the selling of NYCHA, especially Robert Jackson. He was a video that was hosted by UFED. I know you have something against them, and I totally understand it. They had a video, a compilation of them confronting those same elected officials that you think that progressive, including the public advocate, at the African American Day Festival. Well, we met. We did our first video together, and we both dropped. And they confronted a lot, and they were saying things that, I'm for. They said that they want to hear. They didn't tell me what they need to hear. Jackson told me I'm for it, and it's whatever. So that's the thing.
Okay. Well, just to shout out UFAD right quick, I wish you guys would contact me. The fact of the matter is that I know that maybe some of y'all mean well, but I know that because you're connected to a big media source, Jimmy Dore and Sabby Sabs and all this, that you have a command from people with connections to millionaires and money to not interact with me, even though I'm an honest player in the game. I've been doing work in the public housing sector for a long time. Stop letting these other people influence you. They're not even from New York. Jimmy Dore is from LA, right? Yeah. Sabby Sabs is from Boston. Okay. I know they have like some following and stuff like that. That's cool, right? Okay. That's, if they want to help, they want to help. Ask yourself why they're blackballing me from all their stuff, right? Yeah. Because I've taken on power. So until you have time for me, right? Yeah. Stop cutting me out of stuff. Yeah. I'm going to keep coming for you. And that's just what's up. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, but if you're doing good work out there, respect. And, it's going to take a bunch of us, and there are maybe all real, maybe all fake, but there are fake groups, there are AstroTurf groups that will do some good work to build credibility, but at the last moment they'll, right? So I'm going to tell everybody, don't trust me, don't trust them, don't trust anybody, trust yourself. That's why I'm actually out there running Rep My Block, to actually put power into other people's hands, because, if I say vote for me, ooh, better be scared, okay? I promise to never run for anything, yeah? Maybe county committee, that's it, yeah? I'm not really going for any elected position. That's a mistake. Anyways, that's just my personal thing. So let's talk about NYCHA. And you can see that this is a recurring theme, this whole connected industry stuff. Follow the money. Let me see if I can share this on the screen right here. Okay. This is actually there's some other media agencies One of them. Have you ever heard of this group called Hell's Gate?
Huh?
Have you ever heard of this? There's some new independent thing called Hell's Gate. There's.
Yeah.
Oh, you have? Okay.
Yeah, I heard of them,
Well,
yeah.
the thing is that one thing that's interesting is there's something called Peter Thiel.
Yeah.
Okay. So the thing is that he used to have some type of a he was trying to like buy out media and stuff like that, and the person one of the editors who's working for Hell's Gate used to work for this place called Jezebel, which was connected to Peter Thiel. So it's interesting to see where these people are breaking down. They may be unhappy with Jezebel. Maybe they decide to start an independent one, or maybe they're a branch. You need to be skeptical of a lot of these. That's someone that I'm also watching to see what's going on. Yeah, but this other news agency is called The Gothamist. So let me see if I could share that right now. Hopefully this pops up. Let's see. Okay, there we go. You see how it says? You see this article on the screen right here?
Yeah.
And I do think I am happy. I don't know what WNYC is, but I do see that this is supposed to be an independent article. David Brand, I hope you can come on. I'll send you an email at the end. NYCHA gets a big discount on utility bills. New York reps want to let the agency keep the savings. Okay. So the thing is that apparently, right, NYCHA wants to keep the money, right? Now, we talk about green NYCHA, and this is something I've talked to a lot of residents out as I go out and make my rounds. I'll say, look, they want to put these solar panels on your building, right? But is that money going to help you? Right? Yeah. What about these rich people? Why do you have to be the one who loses access to your rooftop, right? Whereas the wealthy people, right? Who's putting solar panels on their stuff? Why is it specifically centered on you? And the way that they're actually, there's new plans to install, even though there's a boiler system inside of all the public housing complexes, they're actually going to install these electric units that are sitting in their window, right? To be powered by the green energy, whatever, right? And they're just breaking in hand over fist money to like do work that they could just refurbish the already existing system. You know what I mean? But now they want to make new money, and they find, poor people who really can't say no, and forcing them to to live in those places while they're undergoing renovations and all this other crap. So, as in terms of the news story right there, we can see that NYCHA, they want to keep the money. It's all about the money and controlling the money and who's in charge of that. It's a recurring issue. Any particular thoughts or, ideas on what's going on with that NYCHA money, or like the money they're saving on utilities?
Oh, I think it's a scam. I mean, I don't know why they just. I think it's more way to try to push people out the buildings, because some way somehow you're gonna have probably got to foot a bill regardless, and it's always gonna get onto the tenant.
Yeah. Now the thing is that there is a lot of there's a environmental industry, right? Yeah. The thing is that, right, a lot of mistake that people make is they think that there's a good guy and there's a bad guy, right? Yeah. The good guy is you. The bad guy is people trying to mess with you, right? Yeah. So the thing is that just because there's a privatization in the real estate industry that wants to, victimize or exploit, right, poor people in public housing residents, there's also a environmental industry, right, that wants to victimize and also exploit, right, public residents. And I'm not saying that I'm not for environmental causes. I really am, but it doesn't mean that there isn't an industry that is ready to profit and sell their unnecessary services or heap that onto a population that can't really defend themselves or determine, right, where that money goes. If there's a lower utility payments for public housing, then that should be another reason why residents should be relieved from those costs. There's just a lot of things that just don't make sense. Yeah. So that's something I think I want you guys to check out. All right. So anything else you want to say on that topic? Are you ready to move on?
I'm ready to move on.
Okay. So one thing that happened right now was the indictment of Trump, right? We know that actually happened recently. But apparently it doesn't look like things are going so well, right? It seems like Stormy Daniels was ordered to pay $600,000 to Trump because of the NDA, the non-disclosure agreement. And by the way, I'm going to tell you right now that a lot of people working for these candidates right now, okay, are signing NDA agreements, okay, non-disclosure agreements. Why is your political boss, right? Yeah, or your party asking you to sign NDAs. Stop signing NDAs if you work for these candidates, right? If they're doing crooked stuff, why would you put a barrier on yourself being able to report corruption? You know, that should be a immediate signal right there if they're asking to sign NDAs, right? Oh, it's just industry standard. You know what's industry standard? Me smacking across the face. You gonna take it? No. You know what I mean? Yeah. Think for yourself, right? Stop signing NDAs. Straight up, yeah? Okay? What do you think is going to happen with this whole indictment thing? You think it's going to be successful?
I think it won't be successful. I think it's gonna fall in their faces, and Bragg is gonna lose. This is all about political. This is all about trying to undermine Trump. They know they're going to try to do this guy. They trying to wear him out for the primary. Trump is just too strong. Trump is well loved by a lot of people. Even progressives. The progressives want him in because if he wins, they make money. These progressives, they became stars because of this guy, and they love that. They love the photo. They love being in the photo ops, and they love being on panels. They love selling books. They love being on documentaries. Without that guy, they can't do anything. DeSantis is weak sauce. DeSantis is so he's just weak. You know, he just like dull. And Nikki Haley, we all know that's about. They trying to get that. They want that Hillary 2.0 gathering. They want those like what's the guy that ran for city governor, but he got lost. What's his name? Robert Wilson. They want those Wilson folks, like those pro-abortion Republicans, like those Hillary Clinton woman type Republicans for Nikki Haley.
You know, that's a great point because I was wondering, right? I was like, the DA works with the judge every day. So they probably know how things are going to break down. So if things go bad, right, it doesn't look like it's going well. The judge is already making judgments against the DA kind of, or, you know, kind of hurting the case. So why would he do it? But you're right? Actually, after this is all over, he could say, write a book and be like, oh, I took on Trump and all this stuff, and it'd probably be a big seller. There's probably a lot of incentives for him to make that move, even if it's not successful. I thought he was hurting himself by, you know, hurting his credibility by making this move. But I can see actually the benefit. That's a good point, man. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, so 2020, yeah, they just don't want this guy to win, and I think that they know what they have to do, make sure he lose. And I don't think it's going to do anything. Nobody cares. Nobody really gives a shit. Just the progressives. So that's what's going on right now with Trump and Stormy Daniels. This is bullshit. It's not going to stick at all. It's going to die.
Interesting concept. Okay, so we'll see how it all breaks down. We'll stay on top of that one. All right, so let's move on to some of we're talking about the security guard industry. Now, something funny happened, you know, and actually it's good that you have a broad background. You was covering an event, right? Something about the NASDAQ, and some dude started messing with you.
No, it wasn't. Yeah. It wasn't about NASDAQ. I'm going to tell you what happened. Because we're going to get I think we should talk about Palestine.
I can show the clip. Do you want to? I don't care.
Let's show the clip. You want to show the clip? Show the clip.
I can. Okay, give me a second. Let me get that loaded. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, while we're here, you want to show the whole clip? Show the whole clip if you want to.
Okay, give me a second. Get that loaded.
We'll break that down.
Set us up. Tell us what it is about. It wasn't about NASDAQ. Right. What was it about?
So what happened was I was supposed to be at the Palestine rally. You was there too, but it was supposed to be at that location, right? The flyer for the Palestine rally was at 43rd and Broadway for 4:00. So I didn't even notice until I saw one of the people that's part of the organization. He guided us to the right place, but we got there a little late because I think he got a text from somebody saying, "Yo, we down at 42nd and Broadway. I think 41st and Broadway by the lids and by I think that barbecue spot by the train station." So I didn't even notice. It was 4:00, and you know I was chilling, but I suddenly saw somebody that I respected, and I still respect to this day, from the financial industry, walking with a few people. I thought it was her company. But I found out it was somebody else's company. I didn't know. So I want to cover that person that I respected. Her name is Fredo Barber. She runs WFG. Yeah, go way down. Yeah. Right there.
Okay, this
right
one?
To the left.
This one or this one?
No. That same thing. They're the same thing.
Okay.
So they was like, yeah, so that's it. So they was like, yeah, so they was coming down, and I didn't know it was a launch. I didn't even know that was going down until I saw her. She wore like the little leopard type dress. So that's her name is Fredo Barber. She runs a company in WFG in New York City. She has branches all over the country. WFG is a network marketing company. So I used to be part of network marketing at the point. So I went to cover her.
Oh yeah, you
so
told you used to have some experience with MLMs and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, mainly financial industry. Yeah.
Hey, man, so everybody who's been, entry level has probably got exposed to that at some point.
Right? Yeah. So that's me. That's me in general. So other than that, it was like the guy was giving me a hard time. I put him in this place. I saw a badge. He had like a little pin of a detective's badge. So I had to put this guy in this place. I'm like, yo, you see the video, but it's just like
cool.
whatever.
Let's let it run. I think it's over here, about here, right? Is it this one? Is it right here?
Yeah, I think what they're about to get inside the pit. Okay, and about to take the pictures.
Let's go.
They're not supposed to.
Now you're getting too close. No, chill out, bro. I am chill. Now you're getting too close. Chill out, bro. I am chill. Now you're getting too close. You're in their way. I'm not in their way, bro. You're right over the guy's head. I'm not over the guy's head. You have some respect. No, chill out, bro. I am chill. I am chill. You don't want to see unchill.
You chill, bro. Just chill out, man. Just relax, bro. Just be chill, man. Just relax, bro.
Yeah, being chill still ain't being disrespectful.
I'm not being disrespectful. I'm not being. Dude, chill out, bro. Just chill out. Chill out, bro. Chill out. Chill out. That doesn't mean just fuck off, bro. Just fuck off. Just fuck off, bro. I can't hear you. Just fuck off. Fuck off, right?
See, this cop is making it hot. He didn't really. All you're doing was filming the event, right? He could, if he just stayed quiet, no one would have been bothered. But he has to go and give you a hard time, right?
Yeah, he was retired. He's a retired cop at security. Now with
maybe he was mad because he wasn't in a suit, right? Maybe that's why.
Yeah, no, yeah, I think, and then I don't give a fuck. I'm not worried. So because I just saw it out of nowhere. It's like impromptu. That was an impromptu coverage. It wasn't like planned. It was impromptu coverage. So the thing about him was he had the blazer. Like he was retired. He's a retired cop. The lady told me he's a head of security at NASDAQ. I said I didn't give a fuck. He's head of security at NASDAQ. Trust me. This is why we'll get into Palestine thing later on, and how, like I said, they brought it up again, and they keep on bringing it up. But they're correct about that. Now, when usually guys like him, like usually to be a head of security at a place like NASDAQ and a couple of these places like financial firms, you have to be a retired cop. You usually have to be retired over service. So I knew about guys like him. I said that I knew what he was trying to do. I was like, look, man, like it's a public street. It's not like you're inside. And you're just a retired. He had like a polo shirt under his blaze. I'm like, he looked professional. But the thing about him is, like, I don't really care. Like, you don't have to talk to me like that. I wouldn't talk to people like that. But disrespect comes with disrespect. Guys like him think they better than everybody else, like because they collect a pension. But you just collect a pension. I don't give it. And you got a little bullshit $60 hour job. But the sad thing about it is people like that, like in the video, they look down on people like him. Of course, they're gonna look down on people like me. But I didn't really care about that. It was somebody there that I wanted to cover. But majority of the time, those people in the financial industry, especially people that makes like 6 figures a month, one people that make over 6 figures a month, they look down on people that actually work 9-to-5 jobs. They don't respect them. They think you're a fuck. They think that people are slaves working 9-to-5 jobs. So, I mean, it's a different mentality. It's a real different mentality. It's just whatever. Like, I'm not gonna wear a suit. So I'm not. There's no point in me being wearing a suit right now. I mean, just to be honest with you, just thing. So
that's true. And just so there is a control game. And the thing is that sometimes they'll do this at protests. Sometimes they'll do this at when they're trying to interview someone, and they're trying to manage the narrative and the truth. Right? Stand your ground. I like the way that you did it. Right? You have a right to be there. And the guy was just singled you out for no good reason. Right? Why are they doing this event in public? Because they want to be seen, right? Yeah, because they want to do that's what a rally is about. That cracks me up too sometimes. Like, I'll be at a rally and with supposed activists, and then they don't want to say anything. No, they don't want to say anything to a free press person who might ask them a complex question and reveal their ignorance on the topic itself, or right? Yeah, they just want to speak to their shills or someone who's going to ask them easy questions or questions that have been set up beforehand or nothing controversial, right? That's actually people should demand more, right? And this activity should be sought out. So props to you for standing your ground. You knew your rights. They say you don't have rights if you don't know your rights. You know you had the right to be there, and he couldn't do anything, right?
Yeah, he's like, what you gonna do? I'm like, yo, he's like, well, I said, yeah, I told you go fuck himself. I don't care. Like, it's like, you're not talking like that. Like, it's a free country.
You should. I mean, because what they try to do is this happens on a regular basis. This is actually an unfortunate norm that has been created. And this happens at some of the other events that we're going to talk about later on as well. Yeah. Right, this type of yeah, well,
events. You know, it was technically two, but one it was perfect. Let's talk about the Palestine, and this is what I'm gonna break down right now. I know it can be controversial, but we'll talk about this, and it's like this is really stems down to bit clowns like him, and how this really goes down. While we're here, let's take it off. If you want, let's go my channel and click the Palestine video. I think it's at 30 minutes. It's a lot of videos. Go my channel and just 30 minutes.
Christopher Leon Johnson, just so you know, right here. Yeah. You know, that's the link right there. Look him up. Yeah, he's got good content.
My videos, yeah. Okay. There's a lot of.
Okay, videos.
Yeah, go to the Palestine. It's one for 30 videos and it's 30-minute video. It's like a 29 to 30-minute video. 59, right there, 3013. Okay. Right, yeah, right, 3013. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the one. That's the one you're in, and Neradine, and we'll explain this right now. So it's right there. So we'll start from early. That's what you want to talk about that. That's what went down to
sure.
technically the same hour. That situated with the guard, and then we had the rally was down by the counter. I think it was a counter, whatever you want to call it. There's like a restaurant, and then you came out. I told you to come to 42nd Street, and now you was at the rally. You spoke.
Sure.
So you want to present your speech?
I could, yeah. I mean, let's go if they want, sure.
That was a great rally, and then we'll talk about the whole thing about how they got later on.
Sure. Start. Okay. One of the things is that at a rally like this, you'll see a lot of people say, "Oh, here's the problem, right?" But we need solutions, and a lot of times you don't hear as much solutions, right? Or the solutions will be like the same solutions as before. So let's get to
DJ. Hey folks, what's up? Yeah. Yo, check it out. I got something to say. Now I'm Korean American, and ever since World War II, a whole bunch of people came to my country as well and decided how they was going to run things. So let me tell you right now. Listen, that's the 40s when World War II happened. Now we're in 2020. What are they waiting for? A century? You know what I mean? Y'all need justice now. I heard a lot of people say justice is coming. Justice is not coming unless y'all fight for it. Now we know that New York City is actually, and I'm not against Jewish people right now. We saw a lot of Jews today, and they discriminate against Hasidics too. But if y'all want to win, we need to have a pathway to success. And one way we can do that is using Rep My Block. We actually provide the voter data for free to the entire public. So and if anybody from any organization wants to contact me, DGL7 at DGL7.com, I will email you the email address for every single New York State legislator. You know what I mean? So you can email them all together. By the way, there's other groups such as public housing, 20,000 registered Democrats in the public housing system alone. They're not the only ones, indigenous people being oppressed. Here's another thing that you guys need to do. Now the thing is that we know that the pain and suffering that happened in Asia caused a revolution in this country after, you know what I mean, the anti-war movement, right? Yeah, what happened was people saw the suffering, they saw the blood, they saw the guts. But now the press, they don't show the suffering anymore. And where there's no pain, there's no urgency. So when you go home on your social media, take the pictures of the war crimes that's going on. Put those pictures up and make people see, and they're going to say, you know what, this isn't something I like to see. Where there's no pain, there's no urgency. They must see the suffering that's happening to these people. They must know, right, they just don't see it anymore. So honestly, right, yeah, you guys need to take it into your own hands and help me fight the press to start covering this issue. People say no more money for Ukraine. What about no more money for the Israeli state? Yeah, that's what's up. So Martin Luther King said we can't.
Hey, that was cool, man. Do you also see on my screen how I'm sharing the email lists that I have, right, of all the state assembly members, state senate members? I actually reached out to, I think you also tagged WOL. So I reached out to them. I haven't heard back yet. But yeah, I'm really serious about this, you know. Why should they have to redo all the work where I can just send them the list of all the current assembly members, senate members? If you're an activist too in any of these fields, right, public housing, victims' rights, we're going to talk about that in a moment, right? So many of these things, hit me up, yeah? Right, they say the way to get changes to elect this person or that person. I'll just get this stuff into your hands and, right, you can email the people yourself, right? Yeah, right? So if you were at that rally, appreciate that so much, yeah. And thanks for bringing me to that event.
Hey, no problem.
Yeah. All right.
So while we were talking about the Palestine rally, we'll just say about the one of the times they talk about how like Israel allegedly, you know, they train the cops in the U.S. to, you know, do stuff on black people. that's kind of like really a bit be honest true, but it's not just like target black people. It's just to target mainly anybody they don't really like. This goes on at mostly the events that they have, mainly with the IDF rallies and not IDF. I mean the fundraisers and any fundraisers that do at APAC and etc. This is why sometimes you see those cops. They bring the most scumbags and the ones they train to help the people out, like to start fucking with people because they get trained to do that stuff from those agencies, from those entities. Now, this is what happened on Friday with me and this cop. I would say this is like I'm not surprised because they get scumbags like him and they get them while they're in the department and they'll train them. They'll fly them over to Israel. They'll fly them to anywhere they gotta go and train them on certain things. And they bring clowns like him back, and they start doing they start doing what they do, like to me on Friday. Now with people like that, and the reason people like, oh Chris, people might say, well, you shouldn't. Like, no, if you don't put those people, I work security. I worked in the industry for like almost 10 years. I worked in a lot of top places in the country. I mean, in the city of New York, even outside of the city, and most of the time, those type of guys, like they come the head of security of those places, and they have those type of attitudes of how they treat people. Majority of the time, they're white, they're Caucasian people, and they like to treat the blacks and the Latinos like they're beneath them.
Absolutely. And let's take a look, right? Let's look at the security industry itself. It's mostly minority, mostly black. You look at every security guy, they're usually a black guy. But who's at the head of the company, especially in the corporate world? Good luck finding a black guy. Maybe once in a while, right? A director or something.
Once in a while, but majority of the time, the blacks they just be used by the white guy that controls them to carry their water. Yeah, to be the yes guy because they know, oh, we could place that dude and we place that black guy, get another black guy. We don't give a fuck. But like from that, like I said, they treat the workers like shit. And majority of the workers, they have nothing to fall back on, so they force to tolerate it. That's why they end up so miserable, because they force to tolerate the bullshit because they have nothing to fall back on. None of these guys don't have no degree, they have nothing, no skill, so they have nothing to fall back on. All you need to be a security guard in New York State is a security license, which is like a couple $100 to get, and just to breathe. So there's no real crime being a security guard these days. But there's certain places you need a driver's license, but it's basically people who have no skill.
There's also a lot of exploitation going on in the security guard industry as well, right? The fire guard licensing, right? That's really unnecessary. They heaped on more costs onto guards. Also, there's a lot of find a job as a security guard schemes that go out there, try to charge people like $500. Oh, we're going to get you a job, right? And then there's no job, right?
Yeah, it's a scam. It's still going to this day.
It's heavy.
It's still going. Yeah, it's still going to this day. And then there's a lot of things. Like there's a lot of things that occurs in the industry, which need to be stopped. But these people don't want to stop it because it's the people that donate money to these politicians and these corporations. And now the really corporations got all the big time contracts. So we all know people gotta know what this is really about. So stemming from that on Friday. Like people don't understand. Like I'm not the type of guy to go off, and I mean people out there that supports what I do. I really appreciate you guys. I really do. I really don't go off like that. But you start understanding that if what you see on the street versus you see in a video will be, and you start understanding about like how certain people wear like attire, and you start seeing how that could how this person's gonna react. Or how this person's gonna come, especially when come with police officers, especially come with police, especially they plain clothes. Then you start asking understand why people go over a certain way. Speaking of Palestine, going back to this topic while we're here, this stems basically the whole Israel thing. They do this with MoMA, and you start understanding with MoMA how that when the cops, like I said before, Israel will train these guys. They'll fly them over to Israel to train them, or send to the federal center to train them on the tactics they need to do, and especially with certain education about anti-Semitism and etc. And then they send these guys back, and then most of the time they'll get put into intel, or they'll get put into some of these specialized units in the NYPD, and then when they retire, they'll be head of security or security supervisors or top security guys in places like MoMA, in places like the Metropolitan Museum of Art, or any of these top art institute, even the art auction galas. And then what they do is they trickle the bullshit. What they know they should be trickling down onto the little $10 hour security. They'll make $10 or more, but you understand they ain't making shit. It doesn't matter you paying $18, $20 an hour. You can't. It's bullshit. They trickle that bullshit down to the $18 hour, $20 hour guard, and then this is what goes on with mainly with MoMA. I worked MoMA in 2022, 2023, 2021. I worked at MoMA. I worked as a guard outside, make sure people don't get in, and etc. So one day I didn't show. I just didn't feel like going to that shit. I said, I'm not going. I'm not going to support that. So one day I missed it. Thank God. Someone told me not to go there, and then I didn't go. But with the Lifetime was there, like the Palestinian organization. I was there. Like we spoke, they let you speak.
Okay.
Now, this is how it trickles down, and you start seeing the stuff that the guards the little $10 hour guards be doing to the people that want to protest them. Allegedly, a guard got his arm broke at MoMA one time. Allegedly, he got his arm broke. I think that's bullshit, because if he got broke, where's the arrest? Where's like this is some bullshit. They're trying to make it up. So, but they will try to put the fear to the guard, like, well, you can't let these guys in. You gotta do whatever you gotta do, make sure these guys don't come in, because it's life or death situation. It's some bullshit. One, they have the right to protest. It's America, it's a free country. They have the right to fucking express themselves. Now, the one thing I don't really like is you get guys like him that will fuck with me on Friday. Those guys sit in a room and make good money per hour. A lot of times they don't need to work the job. They just doing that for extra paycheck from their pension. While they will make the guard who making like less than 1/3 of what they make do all the dirty work.
Yeah.
Why they take all the credit. And even if they get hurt on the job by some people that want to protest, that want to advocate, which I believe with the Lifetime have the right to advocate. I appreciate Nuruddin Kosani. I really respect her. I really respect what she does. That's the one that I think she spoke right after you. That's the one that won with the Lifetime.
Oh yeah, I remember her. Yeah, she was pretty cool.
That's the one. I respect what she does. I don't care what people think about it. I respect Nuruddin Kosani. I respect what she does. She's real smart. She's smarter than fucking everybody they think she is. If you want somebody that know how to organize, Nuruddin Kosani know how to organize. She know how to fucking organize. You got to give it to her about that. She know how to speak to press. She knows how not to engage with a lot of people. She's real smart. She's a smart lady, a real smart woman. Be a smart woman, be exact. So, but the thing is, like, when it comes back to the whole security thing, I'm like, you got it to where you got people make $18 an hour, 17, 16, $50 wouldn't put their lives on the line and trying to show off for people that wouldn't show up to the funeral if they wanted to. If they was to die because somebody was a trampling over like a stampede, or somebody was a trampling over like was a stabbing to death or shooting to death, them people like at the MoMAs, those people at the NASDAQs, even the people that was out there when I was like trying to cover the lady with the leopard dress, her name is Fredo Barber, they wouldn't show up to that guard funeral unless it's for political optics or for photo op. They wouldn't show up because they cared about that person. No, they don't really give a fuck about the person. They just care about them. They just care about their own well-being, right? But they wouldn't show up to a funeral, a guard funeral who got trampled to death. I never saw this ever in my life. It was just like a few years. It was like I think it was over a decade ago. I think we missed the date of this guy got killed. It's fucking horrible. It was a 33J member, union member of like in my union former. He got killed on the job because he did extra hours, but he did overtime. And what happened? I think he did overtime. He worked the shift, and then somebody who got disgruntled. It was a former employee who got disgruntled at his job in federal industry, in the federal level. He went to the job and shot the guard dead. Innocent security guard who got shot dead for just doing his job. And they had a vigil, I think about a World Trade Center or somewhere around like that time, Ground Zero, because the World Trade wasn't built up. And a lot of people today, they didn't care about the guy. You know why they showed up? Because it was a photo op. It was political optics. You know, it's for like, oh, I just gotta wash my hands of this. I don't give a fuck about the guy. I just gotta go there and act like I care for the family, and I'm gonna move on my life. And that's how it is.
You know, one of
So,
the things. Go ahead.
Yeah. So yeah,
One,
that's the thing. Yeah.
when I was talking with the NYCHA, with the situation, right, one of the things that I addressed with the federal monitor was that a lot of times when the federal government or provides grants for things like security or things like that, right, they might say in the budget for the guard 45, 50, 75, $80 an hour. Then they find a guy, right, and so like when the licensing of security guards, I think that started in the 90s, 80s. When did the licensing first start? Somewhere around there, right?
And I think the 80s.
Yeah, when the licensing first started, the pays was decent because not a lot of people were certified. But as time went on, right, when I first became a guard, right, back in the, like, early 90s, right, like I was getting paid decent. But the thing is that like 5 years later, I was a supervisor making minimum wage. They just kept chipping at it. And the thing is that I asked the federal monitor in the NYCHA system, I said, we need to make it more public, or let the people who are working as security guards, right, or, contractors know, right? Let the people who are working on the ground, like security guards, they need to know how much the boss is getting paid to do the security guard. I mean, if they're getting $75 an hour for a security guard, but you're only making like $15 an hour, you should be like, why is this? What's going on, right? But they hide that information, and the thing is that the way that they take advantage of the of the workers, right? And I understand why the boss might do that, right? Because they think they're doing the right thing. That they want to have a war chest in case something happens to the business, right? Yeah, they have to survive a bad time. But this way of not being truthful with your workers, right, leads to a cycle where you dehumanize them. You think of them as less than yourself. And exactly like you said, right? They've been so long treating those dumb, right, workers, right, like abusing them, that they could have a funeral, they could get stabbed, shot, and they put these people on the front lines and then think they're being smart. They're really being cowards, and they're being it's kind of disgusting. That's where that mentality comes from.
Yeah, it's disgusting. It's a corrupt industry. It's a real dirty industry. I've been at 10 years. I've been in all the places. I've been working for G4S. I worked for Ally Universal. I worked for Securitas. I worked for mostly a lot of companies, big and small, and none of them are the. Some of them are different. Some of them are okay, but they're not perfect. Nothing's not perfect. But a majority of them are corrupt. A majority of them are crooked, and sometimes it can be the people that works in the company, especially within the top levels, like guys like him, could be real corrupt, and they treat their workers like trash. And then I just feel bad, because it's like,
what else is crazy? The fast food industry, right? Yeah, what they do is some fast food places end up setting up a union, but the union, what the leadership does is they take all the money from those fast food workers, and they use that to lobby against the fast food workers' interests. And the security industry, they charging you hundreds of dollars for your certification. What do you really learn in those classes anyways? Give me a break, right? Yeah?
Nothing.
But what happens is they taking that money from you, and they building, right? They have thousands of security guards, this, right? And they're taking that money, they're feeding the contractors with it, right? And they're using this, and they set up their little fiefdoms where they, control things, and they work against your interests to keep your pay low, to keep you at $15, to keep you ignorant about how much money they're getting. You need to wake up and be more skeptical and take on the system. Straight up.
Yeah, I think people should take on the system a little more, especially when it comes to unions, because they real crooked with this stuff, and they know what they're doing. And that's a lot of times about money. It's about making money.
Yeah. So don't just blindly be like, oh, a union's good. Is it really? Right, unions could be good, they could be bad. You need to be looking more carefully. Just because it has a label doesn't mean, if it says it's healthy on the food label, does that mean it's really healthy? It's just a word. Yeah, get over it. Yeah, go a little bit deeper. Word up. Yeah. So that's a little discussion about anything else you want to talk about the. Let me see my notes. Where's my notes for this thing? Anything else you want to talk about the security industry or?
Nothing much really at all. Just like that whole thing. They're just damn corrupt. They're just damn crooked. And it's just like I said, like I'll just give advice to any guard. Don't put your life for these people. Don't put your life on the line for anybody. Don't give a fuck about you. If you feel this is bullshit, just run away. There's other jobs out there. It's not the end all be all, because they don't care. They wouldn't care if you break your leg anyway by people that want to protest. But like I said before, again, with the lifetime, I have the right to protest. Anyone want to protest? It's America's free country. And I give up to them because they get it in. They radical, but they get it in. And I appreciate everything because she gets it in. Your son gets an end. So I'm not going to knock that down at all. So, it's America. I mean, they had the right to go and fucking go in MoMA and go in the Met and protest against Israel. It's America. She had the right to do that, and they had the right to do that. But I'm gonna tell this to any people that work as security guard: don't put your life on the line because people that want to protest your location want to get inside. Because I'll tell you this right now: I worked contract security for 10 years. I worked for the big contract companies, Allied, Securitas, G4S, ABM that time. Now it's under Universal. Now it's Allied Universal. Majority of them, if you get hurt on the job, they will find their way to fire you for getting hurt on the job. There's a lot of procedures when it comes to filling out reports. When you get injured on the job, they try to make sure that you don't fill out. And there's certain things and procedures that start getting. They'll say, "Oh, you didn't call this hotline. You didn't call our nurse. You didn't call our doctor. You didn't go to our doctor. You didn't do this and that." So prevent all that. Just don't fucking do it. Just don't put yourself out there for that. Like I said, they want to get in, let them get in, because you live to fight another day. You live another day. Because remember, if you're a pretty boy, you don't want that pre-base get messed up because you want that's my advice. So, but just don't go hard and try for people that don't give a fuck about you. Don't go hard for people that wouldn't show up at your funeral unless it's a photo op, unless it's for optics. That's my advice to security guards out there.
You know, seeing all the corruption and stuff, one of the things that you might be thinking, it definitely crossed my mind, was like, why don't a security guard start our own company, right? But the thing is that the security agencies, the thing is that you need to have like about $1 million in bond, because remember, you're securing certain stuff that might be valuable. Yeah. So you got to have like lots of money in case something goes wrong. So it really becomes an aristocracy where these groups, and remember, these groups have been, you know, it might have started innocently, but as you said in the situation, one guard got hurt, and then they learned some techniques to, you know, minimize their losses. They'll use their corporate speak, right? Basically screw someone over. Then they got good at it, right? Because they did it over and over again, and you know, and then they developed a set of procedures and techniques to get on the good side of the equation and to put you on the bad side of the equation. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
Say they bottom line. Now, when it comes to start security companies, while we're here, it's a lot of people that try this stuff, like, because they feel I can make money off this, but it's real tough to start a business. It's like it's real tough to do anything. You have to have a network.
Security's even harder, way harder.
Yeah, you have to get a network. You have to be credible. Then you have to have bonds. You have to have insurance. There's a lot of money you got to put up, and that shit costs a lot. Especially if you don't have good credit, it could be real tough to get a bond. Or if you get a bond, you pay money for the bond, and the person who got good credit paying for the bond. So it's a lot of complex stuff you got to deal with to start a company, but then they could fold. Then companies like that fold because you got to worry about getting sued because you fired someone the wrong way, or you felt you fired someone the right way and they sue you. And the thing about, even you get sued and you win, you still got to pay a lawyer. You still got to pay legal fees. So you lose, especially the person who don't got money. You can counter sue for the legal fees, but you still pay the lawyer off. So it's just not worth it. It's real tough. It's a real tough industry. So that's the thing about security. That's the thing about a lot of industries being that. Anytime you do it like fire watch, like fire service industries, like you do the fire panel, or you do cleaning services, you do maintenance services, you do security, you do anything you do with a service. It's a lot of stuff that goes behind that. It's a lot of it's a lot of complex stuff. It's a lot of business things. That's why a lot of them don't survive.
Yeah, that's all true, man. Word up, man. So that's pretty much the security industry. If you're a security guard, you know what I mean, or if you know a security guard, tell them to watch the program. You know what I mean? It's a very corrupt industry, like my man said. We got to clean that stuff up too. Word up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now we won't talk about let's go to the end about the DSA, but now let's talk about the Friday the same day, which was hilarious. While we was taking on Friday about that sexual assault awareness rally that was hosted by the Korean Family Services of New York.
Yeah.
I think that was ran by Linda Lee at one point. I think she ran that nonprofit at one point.
Oh, really? Okay.
And I think she was there, and let's talk about that. I think that was a photo op. I think that was a bullshit photo op. Funny thing, there was no press out there. We saw that. There was like no big time press was out there. Not one big camera was out there. Not one reporter. I didn't see no for A New York covering the shit because I think they saw it was bull crap. And it just, a big photo op. And I think it's a bad time for the elected officials, some of the elected officials, to talk about sexual assault awareness where they're protecting Juan Ardilla. While Juan Ardilla got accused of sexually assaulting some women, 2 women.
Wait a second.
And,
You said Juan Ardilla is actually connected to Stephen Raga through the other thing. But
yeah.
is Steve Raga? I know that Linda Lee and what's her name, Suzanne Ung or whatever her name is, Sandra Ung. Yeah, I've seen them like hanging out together. I haven't seen Steve Raga as part of that clique. Maybe he is, maybe he's not. It didn't really seem like, because they all spoke first and they were hanging out separately. So what's the tie? What's the connection? What's going on?
Well, Stephen Raga, they brought in by Catalina Cruz. Catalina Cruz is a state assembly member.
Okay.
I think she's doing her best to try to protect that guy Juan from resigning. It's a stinking mess with everything that's going on.
Juan is trying hard to survive. I see him keep posting stuff. Yeah, he started posting stuff again. I haven't checked the comments. He's probably getting slaughtered in the comments. I gotta see.
Yeah, he's getting slaughtered. Because he's doing this little bullshit COVID, like hangout stuff. He's doing that bullshit.
He's also doing stuff with seniors too, right? Because the seniors vote.
Yeah,
so you see him already lining things up for his potential re-election that he's trying to.
Trying to get reelected. It's just pandering. It's pandering in a nutshell.
Yeah.
And recently he just canceled his donation giveaway. His because he scared people come out in front of him. But going back to the Korean thing, it was just a politicians just saying, "Oh, we gotta stop."
What is their tie? Is it Working Families Party? What is their what's their clique?
What you mean?
The Catalina Cruz clique. What clique is that?
I think she's Working Family Party. She's Working Family Party, but she's doing a lot of scumbags like the Brooklyn DA and the Bronx DA. So she's a lawyer. So that's the thing with her.
Okay. Interesting. I'm
still
learning, man. I appreciate it.
So going back to that, the Korean thing on Wednesday, you came in, do what you gotta do. That was not about a photo op. Like all that was promoting politicians and promoting the nonprofits. That's all it was. Nothing much.
Why would they bring in Steve Raga but not Iwin Chu? Like, why would they? It seems a little strange. Like, there's other candidates.
I don't think Iwin funds. I don't think Iwin funds that organization. I don't think so. I think she funds something in her district because it benefits her district. And I don't think they have she don't have a big Korean board in that district, so there's no point to fund it. But she funds the Arab American Association. I respect that nonprofit, Arab American Association. I respect them a lot. That's what I'll fund. I have a problem with her funding that. Drop money to that nonprofit, Arab American Association, AAA of New York. Drop money to that. Donate money to that if you want to. But going back to this. Like I said, the way nonprofits work is the only way they will let you get on stage is if you fund them or you're guaranteed to fund them, prove to them that you're going to fund them when you get elected. That's all electioneering. It's all electioneering. The way nonprofits work with politics is they help you get elected. They help candidates get elected. In return, the candidates will give the money back in discretionary funding or capital funding. Yeah. So that was what it was on Friday. Mostly all the politicians there, they fund that nonprofit and the various nonprofits that was there that day too. You had victims and violence and prevention. You had a lot of nonprofits that was there, but it was hot, so what it was, and that's it.
Yeah. So I did actually. I let the event proceed forward, right? Yeah, but then as time went on, then I eventually, I sent, these politicians on the stage. Linda Lee, she's actually a historic Korean American first in the legislature, right, for the for her city council district. So I was hoping that she would be someone who would help. I hadn't really ran into her from my other activism stuff, right? I was out of the country when Trump was in office, right? And my other activism, right, didn't do so much work with the elected officials or that stuff. So I was really hoping for her assistance, but it's been a complete dead end. When I see her at events, she treats me really nice, right, like a politician, right? But actually, as in terms of getting any help with actual issues or moving anything forward, or having a response like from email or anything like that, there's none. So I got fed up and I started saying, what about the emails that I sent? And it's been going on for more than a year that I've been, getting at these people. But, the priorities, once again, like I could show you on the screen right here. Let me see if I could share that. Like Melinda Katz, right? Do you know about my work with Reverend Keith Gadsden and Nolan Farrell?
Yeah, I saw the video.
Okay.
When she closed her eyes, etc.
Yeah. And then also she's, look, I'm not like, she's she didn't have time to take care of their issue, even though they were in prison 10 and 32 years. But here she is doing Celebrate Israel 2021. That's what Melinda Katz is doing as Queen's DA, right? Instead of spending her time, right, like helping out people that really need her help, right? She's photo opping and doing stuff for donors, right? Like the Israel, and there's a cycle of money that goes back and forth, right? A cycle of money that goes back and forth between Israel and New York City. It's not hard. It's very easy to find, right? Yeah, with the money and the training force and all that, and people are getting rich off of that, and this is not cool. Yeah. So
speaking of parades are political. Parades are real political. Parades are usually the people that run the parades are usually nonprofits, so they make money off the parades. They make money off the donations. You usually gotta pay. Usually gotta pay to march. You have to pay to get a float. You have to pay to perform. It's a lot of stuff to pay for those. They already got the permits. Yeah. But they sell those permits through donations. That's how you make the money.
Yeah, there's shenanigans going on.
A lot of shenanigans will go. All the parades like that. All of them like that. Yeah. So anytime people try to say that parades are not political, they either naive, or they either not lying, or they trying to protect their access. So don't pay that shit. Don't pay them no mind. But it's all them shit political. So that's the thing.
No,
it's usually ran by in New York State, especially in the city of New York, is usually ran by the Democratic Party. The Republican Party has a few parades, but majority of the time it's ran by the Democratic Party. So.
I've had some positions of responsibility and I guess you could say power as well. So look, I'm not, hopefully Linda Lee watches this, right? I'm not completely against you. I understand why you make the decisions. I know there's people high up putting pressure on you to not interact with me, whatever. You know what I mean? But I'm going to tell you right now that, why I'm doing what I'm doing. This is what activists have to do in order to get their stuff addressed. So, I don't have the money. I don't have the industry stuff. You know what I mean? All I have is, the people aren't really mobilized. So I will mobilize and I'll do what I got to do. I'm very committed here, yeah? So let's start talking, Linda. Did you see the email that I sent to John Liu? I think I actually CC'd you on that
one. I saw the email. It was a long email, but
so I send like these big documents. Yeah, look, John Liu's a pioneer. I don't want him to, it was sad. I actually have footage of him cycling away while I'm like, John Liu, are you going to help me? John, are you going to help me? I'm going to show the pages of emails that I sent you asking for help. Meet me outside your office. I have all this footage, John, right? Linda, you know how many emails I've sent you, right? Yeah, it's not going to look good. I don't want to do this to you, right?
Was that Linda? Was that Linda or was that Sandra Ong that said, was that Linda or was that Sandra Ong that said she had time to speak?
Sandra Ong is, she's really, probably Sandra Ong. She's really scared of me, actually. At the CAGNY event, the Korean American Association, she was looking, she tried to do this to me, she tried to duck. And you saw them at the event, right? As soon as I started bringing up the issue and talk about the pages of emails, they all ran away. They literally ran away. You saw that, right?
Yeah.
They ducked out. They ran away. I thought these people are supposed to fight for you. They are running away from just a couple questions. What is this garbage?
Yeah.
That was pretty funny. Yeah. So.
Yeah, that was real political.
Hey, look. So I hope they watch this. I'm gonna send them this. We'll see. Yeah. Look. A lot of the Asian American people might wonder why I'm not really working more with the community, stuff like that. That community, that whole culture is very hierarchical, and they have a lot of Confucianism, right? The hierarchy. So someone to come out the way that I'm doing it. The fact that you don't really know Asian American activists at all, it's a combination of factors. And, I'm trying to do my thing with my community. If you don't see things happening, it's because I'm going up against a lot of resistance. That's just what it is.
Yeah.
Oh, one last thing I'm going to mention about that is there's, let's take a look at, let's, for example, mention DSA, right? They're so hype about Amazon, so hype about Starbucks, right? There's a little bit of an industry against the industry thing going on. But there's only one unionized Chinese restaurant in all of New York City. Only one, right? You know anything about that? Where's the help for that, right? Who cares about the Chinese restaurant on the corner? Nobody, right? It's all about the Starbucks, right? The things that the bourgeoisie go to, right? Yeah, they eat cheap Chinese food too, but they don't care about those workers. There's some kind of hypocrisy. Y'all need to start opening your eyes about. There's a lot more to this story than you might think. Yeah. Y'all think about the whole labor. I literally come out of events, right, and I see people who work on the Amazon, the Starbucks union stuff. They don't know who I am, and they give me this look of contempt. because I'm just not as good as them because I don't work on labor issues. Oh my God. Yo, they be cracking me up. Sorry, yeah, I just had to throw that in there. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so yeah,
speaking of DSA, while we're here, before we get into the DSA part, let's talk about that AAPI budget initiative. They have equity budget initiative. They have coming. They have a think about.
Ooh, okay. Oh, Jim Engel's in the building. What's up, brother? Official part of People's USA. He's in Austin right now. There's a lot of shenanigans going on in Texas. Very interested. I'm bringing him on the show soon. Yeah, to
Cool.
Talk about what's going on in Texas. Also, he has his own battle going on. He's a warrior. Yeah. Anyway, so the thing is that going back to we was talking about the which organization again?
The AAPI budget.
Oh
AAPI.
Yeah. Okay. So the thing is that, like, I think about a year or two ago, right, there was like $20 million. That was, I think, Jen Raj Kumar was the one who set that up. By the way, when I've seen her in Albany a couple times, she's always running away from me. She's deathly afraid to talk to me. Yeah, Jennifer Raj Kumar. So she set up this $20 million budget, and now they're pumping up to $60 million. Just so you know, this evidence is also out there. Maybe I'll even show it on this broadcast right here. I've emailed a whole bunch of organizations like No Dole, right? Yeah, Korean, right? Yeah, Cagney, stuff like that, and say, look, let's make a press together, right? Because the Asian Americans are getting the budget. But I said, I'm Korean American. Let's make sure that the Koreans get our just share. Let's work together. Let's see, and I also want to mobilize the Korean American community using Rep My Block. This email, let me find this email right now, right? The thing is that I never got any response, right? You would think that increasing the number of voters in the Korean community would be a good thing, and there's a way that we could work together. That of my work, right? Doing a lot of stuff for, building coalitions to try to help get things done. Successfully got the New York State Disabilities Advocate restored after, a month of protests in front of City Hall. I have successes behind some of the things that I've done, but they're closing ranks, and where do you think the money's going? This now $60 million, right? They don't want to use it to mobilize. What do they want to do with it?
Well, to be honest with you, all they want to do is just line their own pockets. Like, see, nonprofits, the money that you go to is going to the nonprofits that get these guys in this legislator. That's all that's about. A lot of those nonprofits that are advocating for it, they get money from the state. So all they want is to just go out and get more money from the state out of that equity budget.
Yeah.
See, like I said before, nonprofits, they electioneer and they campaign for candidates. And then when those candidates get elected, in return, they get the money. The people in the community will never get the money. People that work their ass off all day, 9-to-5 jobs, have to work 2 or 3 jobs to get by, they will never make that money. They will never make that money. So that's the thing. They'll never make that money.
Yeah, and actually like you said earlier, right, the boards and stuff, the advisory boards, it's like this corrupt little circle where they, usually the board director's getting $400,000 a year about, and then there's a whole bunch of like vice presidents getting about $100,000 a year. And then what happens is that the board will be serving on other not-for-profits, and they create this little whole corrupt community where they all back each other up and endorse each other and provide, it seems like, layers of, so you got to respect the hustle, but, if you really examine it, you see it has nothing to do with helping people. It's really to help themselves. So people got to step in and start examining this stuff, yeah? Just because it has the label of, community, organization. How are they helping the community? Time to ask some real questions. That's what's up. And how much are they getting paid to do that work?
90% of money goes to the executive board, to the workers, and then 10% goes to the cause.
Yeah.
That's how nonprofits usually are.
And often they can't prove any efficacy at all. There's no, right? You're like you say, a lot of times you bring out these cure violence orgs. How is that, unless they can really show, right, that violence going down, if violence is going up, what are they doing? Are they having any impact at all? These are valid questions to ask, right? We can't just slap more money. Oh, we need more money. We need more money. I hear that all the time at these protests. That always sets my alarm bells off. Why are they just asking for money? How about, it's not always about more money. That it's someone's job, or it shows another, motivation behind it. Yeah, very true. All right. So the funding, the $60 million, you're right. They're pumping it by triple. Where's that money going to come from, by the way? You think that's going to get approved?
Huh?
You think that $60 million is going to get approved?
Mostly it won't get approved. I don't know. We never know how it's gonna go down. They still in these budget talks, or they might settle for less. We don't never know. Mostly it won't. It's just a lot of stuff. Like keep waking up soon. The API thing. So
Yeah. Actually, Jim Engel in the chat is just talking about it's a Nick Brana thing. That's another political, op, I guess you could say. So the thing is that, look, yeah, these techniques are known about, right? And a lot of these people, like we said before, they have those advisory boards and stuff. They're all in on it. And they know this game, and they play the game the same way again and again and again. So that's, remember that Brana was actually working for the Democratic for quite some time. Yeah, he learned all their bullshit techniques. It's really sad, but yeah, the people get what they deserve unless they start fighting for it. That's real.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anything else about that particular the money?
Nothing much. Like really, just like the people that's behind this stuff are disgusting. Speaking since you're a player with Dio Chino, one of the guys that turned on Theo after the election and I think blocked Theo, he was as one of the main guys that advocated for the budget. Now his name is Art Chang. He ran for mayor.
Oh yeah, that guy. Yeah, it was
Art Chang ran for mayor.
Yeah,
and he lost. You know that. He was anyway. I ain't give a fuck. But he's a board member of CACF.
Okay.
And so we don't know what this is about. He's a board member of CACF. So that's the thing.
What is CACF?
It's a nonprofit that's doing Asian American causes.
Yeah. I really haven't run into them yet. I knew about AFI, so I haven't run into them. I still need to see what's up with them. Yeah. What about actually another guy who I've run into recently is this guy named Phil Lecter or something. That's Phil Lee, some Phil guy. I don't know if you saw the Mike Trump indictment video. There's some Chinese guy who stands up. He says he's like some kind of some non-government organization.
I don't really know.
Don't worry about it. Yeah. All right. Cool. So what else? Anything else happened this week?
Oh, before we about to end, we didn't talk about the DSA stuff.
Let's talk about
the AOC rally.
Okay, the AOC rally. Yeah. Now thanks to Christopher Leon Johnson, my man, very passionate, knows a lot of things. He found out about AOC was going to be at this event. You know what I mean? And I was like, yo, what's up? I need to come. Yeah. So I'm there, and then go ahead. So.
All right. So okay, the rally was in Afton Square Park. That was in Astoria. That's right off the N train, RW train, on 30th Avenue. Walk down a block, to be exact, and you're inside the park. So Afton Park is dedicated to Greeks. It's dedicated to Athens, Greece. So it's like a more like Greek type layout of the park. So it was a rally at 5:30. It was hosted by the WFP and the DSA, and AOC was the featured person of the party of the rally. So they trying to do that rally was advocate for the budget. They want the budget, and they're trying to bring it home. Talking about bail reform and crime and public safety and climate and housing. They'll talk about everything, including how Just for All, like one organization that act like they're fighting for the people, they was there too. So you had a lot of politicians that was there. Stephen Robert was supposed to be there. He was on the media advisory. He didn't even show up to it. So the people that was there was Julie Wan. She wasn't on the advisory. Julie Wan, Tiffany Caban, Krista Gonzalez, Jennifer Salazar, Julia Salazar. Then you had who else spoke? Then you had Zoran Madami, and you had Ron Kim. Yeah. But AOC was the lead person that was there. So it was basically a bullshit photo op rally. It was not about a photo op.
Hey, quick question, right? Yeah. Now the thing is that there's a lot of high power going to that event, especially AOC. Usually AOC goes to events that are larger than that. The turnout for that event was pretty small. Why do you think AOC went out for that event? What would bring her, get her involved in that?
The Worker Pain Party and DSA, they brought her out there. I think they brought her out there. And the turnout really small. I think they promoted. They didn't promote. I think it's supposed to be more like internal. They treat me like shit. One of the media persons like, oh, the way they treat me like trash. To be honest, that's why I covered the way I covered it. I mean, I was like, well, you ain't gonna talk. I didn't want to say it on camera, but I was like, in my head, I was like, well, you ain't gonna talk to me like that, and expect me to do anything back. I was like, whatever. While you want to show the people the video that I took of you going at them. We got
That's
time
a long
for that.
video, man. I kept going off for a while, yeah. But yeah, they were like, they want only approved media and all this other crap. Yeah, I was like, that's
it was like I know what that was about, but you did it. You laid it down. You did it correctly. shut them down. They scared.
Yeah, they're shutting down their own workers. It's really kind of sad, right? Yeah, there is a definite aristocracy, and the bosses stuff only matters. Well, actually, I have to give props to Zoran, right? Yeah, it seems like some things are moving forward with his people. We're gonna see, yeah. So hopefully, yeah, we're making some progress there. It didn't come easy though. Yeah, it came through blood, sweat, and tears, really. You know what I mean? And that's a fact. All right, so I'm on your page. Let me do the screen share. Hold up, give me a second. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we can both see what's going on. Bam. Okay, back on your page. I'm looking for the videos here. And wow. Okay.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, this was pretty hype. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Which one is it here?
Right there, one you right there. That's you.
Oh, that's one. Okay, because there's a couple of these. Yeah.
No, that one. That one more clear. It's 20 minutes.
I went off for a while. Okay, yeah.
You want to go through the whole thing? You do while we take a break.
Look who's actually helping.
Hey, we're trying to talk to you.
What? Go ahead, tell them. What have you ever done for poor people? What have you ever done for poor people? Tell the cameras. They can't answer the question. What have you done for poor people? Go ahead, tell me. Do you have an answer? They're out here trying to have a working class rally. Yeah? I'm repeating their words. They're more concerned.
I feel a little bit bad for these people, right? Because they probably mean well getting involved with DSA, right? Yeah. But the thing is that they get sucked into doing recruitment work for DSA. Think about I'm sorry to say it's like a cult. You know what I mean? The thing is that they send their people out to go and recruit new members to get money, right? But the goals that they say they're for is in terms of helping people, like I was mentioning Carmen Bellichu, their own member, their DSA co-chair from Memphis, Tennessee, right? A ranking member in their own organization, right? They are just abandoning her, right? Yeah, and only talking about the electeds, right? And what about to Justin Pearson, Justin Jackson, right? Yeah, not saying that they're not relevant, but right, the head of the organization, Memphis, Tennessee, where Tyree Nichols just died, is trying to address some situations. They just abandoned her because if you're a worker, you don't matter to this organization. What? So
yeah,
after going right and these people, right, they probably would if they had the opportunity to actually help poor people, they probably would. But ask yourself, if you're at DSA, why those opportunities are not coming. Yeah, I can show some of the emails I have from DSA where they're having these social events. You know what I mean? What I talk about, like their speed dating event, right? Yeah. Come on, you know what I mean? I'm not mad at you having a speed dating event, but if that's the only type of events that you're going to, right, getting people to support your candidate or, doing social events that, by the way, are not very diverse at all, right? You need, that exclude Asian American men, let's be real. Okay, they're going to start changing that pretty soon because of all the pressure I'm putting on there, but, they'll find a soft one. They're not going to find, Asian American that they can accept, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Under pressure, right? So this was a DSA thing. So I went off on them. They weren't able to say they could help poor people, and you can see these purple umbrellas, right? They actually planned that. Remember that they complained about Hillary Clinton and her white noise boxes. This is the same attempt to shut people down. And the thing is that at the Palestinian rally, at the black rally, right, you're going to see that the people of color, right, not trying to be anti-white here. But the thing is that, right, the black people introduced me to George Floyd, right? Al Taylor be saying what's up to me, right? Yeah? When you see it at the Palestinian rally, they let me speak. When you see me at the white-controlled rally, right? Yeah, you see all the white people swarming me, right? They eventually find a black guy to try to push me down, right? The white people don't want this dissent happening, right? They need to control it. And what is this crap? You know what I mean? Look at this. This is sad.
It's time for the I'll tell them how you... I've been in mad for... any one of them.
And I hope that you guys watch this Christopher Leon Johnson once again. You can see the things that these people are saying. They do not answer they do not answer my question about what are you doing for poor people. They keep trying to push the thing into another direction. They keep holding the guy was touching on my neck. They keep putting the umbrellas down over my face. It's very obstructive to, what are they trying to hide? It's frankly, it's disgusting. So that's what I have to say about that.
Yeah.
Anything else
we saw all that. So while we keep going on to the further end of the video, I'm gonna show the person that we want to talk about while we're here. And this is
Maria.
Hi, Maria, go back. Wait. They see go. All right, go a little. Wait. Go more.
Back more. Okay.
This
one right here?
How is this?
Wait, stop here. All right. See the girl, since you're there, see the girl right there, right next to you?
This one,
Her name is Diana Marino. She's now working for NYCHA. She's like an organizer for NYCHA. About her, I think she goes out with Tippy Caban. I think they have like a certain like relationship, like probably a sexual one.
I do recognize her. I do recognize her. Yeah, I've seen her around. She should know me too.
Yeah. So about her, she used to work for NICE. She used to be executive director for NICE. So that time before, the current commissioner for immigration affairs, his name is Manny Sato. What is it? Manny Castro. He's now the immigration commissioner for New York City. But before, he was executive director for NICE. Now, when he resigned from NICE to become executive, she became the executive director for NICE. Now she got a job with NYCHA, the nurses union. So we don't know what the hell that's about. They trying to find a way to engineer their candidates, especially Timmy Caban and certain progressive candidates that they want to run for office and get them the nurses endorsement. Because the nurses endorsement is like real tough to get. It's a real tough endorsement to get in New York City. You want political office. So there's a reason they got her there for. So that's about her.
Okay.
I mean,
yeah, the nurses actually have a pretty powerful union political presence. I've seen them around. I have actually a scrub that I got from one of their events, and also a scarf. They have a lot of money too. Actually, nurses are well compensated. Yeah, and unfortunately, just so you know, I come from the medical industry. There's a deep corruption culture inside the medical industry, very deep, and that unfortunately leads to normalization of corruption in other aspects of their life, which is quite unfortunate. Oh well, right? Yeah. So I also heard people say that, doctors are bad, nurses are good. Don't take it there's also good nurses out there too that are calling out the BS, right? There are some good doctors. They get rid of a lot of them. Okay, a lot of them burn out or, disgusted by it's not hard to find, right? Type in nurse burnout on YouTube or, taking on the industry. There's quite a few of them, but they're all canceled and gotten rid of. So, thanks for pointing out this person right here. She was actually, you'll see that she's quite aggressive about the way she's going at me. Even though I'm shouting about the Memphis DSA co-chair where Tyree Nichols just died, you'll see that in the footage of Christopher Leon Johnson, they could ask, what's up, right? Or is this guy for real? And right after I had to go super hard and I refused to go, right? And they called the cops on me, by the way, right? DSA is so anti-cop, right? They're like, defund the police. So who are they going to call when DGL7's out there calling out their bull stuff? You know what I mean? Yeah? They're going to call the cops. They're hilarious, yeah? All they have to do, by the way, okay, DSA, I'm going to tell you right now, you guys could have a discussion with me, okay? Zoran's people actually finally doing it, right? Yeah, So, because we've done some other work on the disabilities issues, right? Yeah? And they've had some stuff together there. So hopefully, right, once again, I don't label, just because you're DSA doesn't mean you're bad, right? But someone has to stand up and be a leader, yeah? Be a leader, be a real leader and actually help people. And stop BSing and stop bending over backwards for all these, corrupt ass organizations. They're problematic. Stop playing the game and have a backbone for real, right? Remember, AOC was like, oh, if I'm a one-term, I'm gonna take that. You know what I mean? Now you're like, oh well, we're all part of unity. I'm not saying sometimes that could work, but show us what you got in return. Yeah, I'm not completely against any of these people, right? But if y'all shut me out, if you shut me down like this is not democracy. Why don't I deserve to, your hypocrisy is just ridiculous. It's sad, yeah? And I will expose to all the actual poor people that I actually serve and work with. And I encourage you to watch on my channel, the Carmen Bellici, where she once again says that only rank and file members of DSA ended up helping her. The organization really did little to nothing. They maybe sent out an email. That's it. Okay? That's it. So, yeah. That's that. Okay, so there's that event. Anything else, really?
Yeah. Basically, let's see what we used to do. I just got soap, but basically nothing really crazy happened this week. That was a hilarious thing. That was a funny thing.
So so you know, the victim rights rally that's going to be on Monday at 9 a.m. I think at Jacob Javits 26 Federal Plaza, and
I think the hearing. I think probably is a hearing. That's tomorrow. I think they do it because of Bragg. He's indicting Trump, so there's probably a retaliatory rally.
I do feel like there is some political bent to it, but once again, I'm not really concerned about the people who's leading the event, but, really looking for other people that are going to show up, that are looking for justice. People like yourself, right? From Brownsville, New York, one of the most violent parts of the city, right? When DSA is drawing up their plans, instead of listening to everybody, listening to the whole community, they pick and choose who they want to listen to that aligns with their own interests, often with the industry, right? Or to make sure that certain people get paid, and they neglect other parts of the community that they're supposed to be serving.
Oh yeah, while we're here, before we end this, let's talk about you about the rally from the 24-hour workday, like the one Ron Kim did with. You want to talk about that?
Sure. Okay. 24-hour workday. That's actually so here's a funny thing, right? The 24-hour workday. I haven't put that video out yet. I do have footage actually of me covering some of that event, because there's a funny thing, because I do work with the disabilities group, right? Yeah, and I also disabilities, like Adapt was there. My man Mark Saffman had told me about the event. He would actually went to protest the event at City Hall. Then the thing is, on the other side of it, right? So SEIU is actually, fighting against, right? Even though there's a labor, you think the labor union, right? Or most people would say a 24-hour workday, that just on its basis sounds bad. It just doesn't sound right. But SIU is actually backing it, and so is the disabilities group. So when I showed up at the event, I was torn. I was like, do I help my Asian American brothers out, right? Yeah. The guy, I told you about, the only union labor president from the Chinese American restaurant, his name's Nelson Marr. There's also, they're called NMAS-CSWA. Those are the ones who are working on the Ain't I a Woman campaign and the 24-hour workday, trying to get Christopher Marte's helping them. That's one of the reasons why I'm a Christopher Marte supporter. By the way, he's not calling me back. I think he also has orders not to talk to me. But the thing is that within that group right there, they're fighting against the 24-hour workday. Right, but then you have SIU and the disability people on the other side, because the city, right, can try to make their own rules regarding 24-hour workday, but then there's also the federal program and the state program has their own rules, right, that make it hard to really manage that, and the realities of that, and the people who are being served, the people with disabilities, really need to be a part of that process. So, and the Chinese community also, with their home care workers, are also part of that. So it's a mixed bag right there. So, I am in this, but I just haven't put out the video because it's a complex topic, and I'm torn on both sides, because it's not always so easy. So just so that we get that out the way. So go ahead. This event, Ron Kim, go ahead. So what do you know about this event, and what's your take on it?
Basically, I think it's illegal to work those amount of hours.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, actually, it's. Obviously, the person's going to be sleeping during some of that time, right? But if the person has an emergency, they could hit a button. But the thing is that because they're allowed to work 24 hours, there's some kind of they don't actually pay them for the full 24 hours for the shift. So even though the person's on call and working technically, right, they're not really being paid. So there's there's shenanigans with the payment, and really workers, right? If anybody is an emergency worker on call, it has to wake up at, while they're sleeping, right, and has to serve right away. There should be some compensation, but once again, the lowest class workers, security guards, home attendants, right, constantly screwed over again and again by the system. And I have to, I understand the concerns of the disabilities crew, and they do have a point with the federal and the state stuff, but I do overall support, right, the position of the CSW and NMAS and the Ain't I a Woman campaign about the 24-hour workday, just overall.
That's good. Yeah, okay.
Okay. So I'm so glad to see you cover that, man. Yeah. There was no other press there, was there? Yeah. If you want someone who's really on the ground covering real stuff, Christopher Leon Johnson is out there covering the stuff that others aren't. And if you want to know who's out there, which politicians are out there, that's why I'm subscribed to Christopher Leon Johnson, because he has unique and valuable information about which politicians are showing up, which organization shows who's there, who's doing what, who's tied to who, what the relationships are. If you want to move forward in the political game, they say one of the definitions of politics is knowing who to talk to get the job done. So if you want to understand this game, right, Christopher Leon Johnson is one of the best sources that I could think of, right, to really understand New York City politics. Yeah. All right. Anything else on that particular issue?
Nothing else at all. But
whose side is? I think Christopher Marte was there again. Whose side is Ron Kim on? Because SIU is actually lining up with the other side. That's a powerful group. I don't think Ron Kim would want to take them on. Maybe he is.
I don't think so. But he don't care. I think he regards his community more now than than everything else, you know.
Yeah, I hope Ron Kim, you know, he's a legend. He's a first-time Korean American, you know, legislator. I hope he could talk to me, but he's deliberately, deliberately playing games, man. Come on, Ron.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, Ron.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stop it, man. All right, just be honest, man. All right.
Mm-hmm.
I can be understanding, as you could see, right? I'm not going to run my mouth, blah blah. But if you shut me off, what other choice do I have? I got to run my mouth, man. Yeah, that's it. Sorry,
yeah, of course.
Yeah.
What you could do?
Yeah. That's
like
it.
Get things done.
So this week I'm excited. You know, 420 is going to come up. I definitely should be having a good time. Yeah, hanging with some people. I know it's not the best thing, but you know, I went through some tough times. So, you know, that's just a place for me to be hanging out. Anything you're looking forward to this week?
No, not at all. Just tomorrow's a rally. I think it's the meeting tomorrow for public safety. But there's going to be a counter rally. I think you should go tomorrow morning because there's going to be a counter rally with the progressives. Like Gays Against Guns going to be tomorrow. They're going to boycott that shit.
Well, you know, I do see. You know, I'm not necessarily 100% comfortable with the rally. Some of the people that might be leading, I'm not sure if there's other intentions involved, right? Like you said, like it might be a Trump thing or a brag thing, trying to like, you know, weaponize, right? Yeah. But once again, I'm not really there for, you know, whatever, you know, millionaires or aristocrats are trying to battle each other, right? They may be trying to use the community. I want to contact the community and say, look, you know, the CRB is all political and organizational appointees. If you want to change the system, you got to get involved, and I'll try to do a grassroots thing, you know, and meet up and, you know, yeah, get us to actually attend some of these issues. So, you know, I'm definitely, and also, to tell you the truth, you influenced me a lot as well too, man. You know what I mean? You've been a good ally, and I've heard your stuff, and you're not the only one who talked about like victims' rights and talking about like, you know, the problems of violence in the poor community. You know, we need to go outside the narrative and actually listen to people. And thank you for bringing that. You know, I've heard that as an issue, and you're right.
Yeah.
You know, there's people being hurt, and we need to actually do something to solve that. Appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, take care. All right.
Thank you. All right, it's been an honor. Yeah.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Appreciate it.
God bless. All right. So I'm just gonna hit end on the stream.
Yep.